This is fun from my state, Utah.
Big change could be coming to how you prove who you are. Utah State is considering rolling out a digital ID to help prove who you are in your online dealings. But with data breaches on the rise, Jim Spiewak asked if this can be a game changer for your online safety and security.
Everyone is born with identity.
You control your identity. You should control your digital identity.
Christopher Bramwell, Utah's chief privacy officer, is leading the state's effort to create a state-endorsed digital identity system, which would provide residents with a verified digital credential proving they are who they say they are.
So someone being able to pretend that they're me probably wouldn't happen. The whole point of state-endorsed digital identity is to give you control of your identity so nobody can impersonate you.
Bramwell sees initial uses for digital identity for things like going through TSA or verifying identity for government services. But he also says demand is growing in the private sector.
Why wouldn't you just use an identity you control to log into services and you don't have to worry about reset passwords?
Bramwell says once you receive your credential, the state won't know when you use it and it won't be tracked, but it would be stored securely in something like a digital wallet.
What do we tell people about why this will be secure? So security is our top priority, but most importantly, how do you recover when there's a security breach without having to do reissuance of identity to everybody in the state?
Utah lawmakers passed Senate Bill 260 this year, which laid the baseline policy that gives individuals the right to digital identity, but not a mandate to opt in. Senator Kirk Cullimore was the bill's sponsor.
Everything is digital now. A lot of what we do, even in interacting with the state, is digital.
With AI advancing rapidly, Cullimore believes many technologies will soon require state endorsement.
Do you feel confident that what is in policy right now as we start to build this out is the most safe and secure? The laws and the parameters to establish its safety and the security and the principles of freedom surrounding that are getting put into place.
Jim Spiewak, KUTV.
The only thing that I can say is mass non-compliance is the only way that we will stop what's coming.
Well, here we go, everybody. We all knew this was coming. This is something I hadn't thought about, though. With this being the United States, this will probably roll out one state at a time. This should give some of us a chance to see how this plays out in other states and figure out a way to fight back against it. It's hilarious how they're trying to frame this as a new right that they're giving to citizens, though. Sure, it's a right until it's a requirement. It's a right until they stop letting you go on the internet without it. They've made us reliant on the internet for the vast majority of everything that we do. Soon, they're going to tell us for our own safety, it's a requirement for us to get the digital ID or it's going to be too dangerous for us to get on the internet. I just want to take this opportunity to remind everybody, things were a lot more peaceful in the 90s when we didn't all walk around with these devices in our pocket. When you could get in your truck and go for a drive and the government couldn't track your every move. We can live without this stuff, and we'd probably be better off for it. But I'm afraid we're all going to have to be ready and willing to give this stuff up, or we ain't going to make it.
Have you been down the lead paint rabbit hole? Because it may have been banned for a completely different reason than many think.
Did they really ban lead paint because it was toxic? Or because it blocked their signals? Think about it. For decades, every home was coated in lead paint. Thick, durable, insulating. Then suddenly, governments worldwide decided it was dangerous. But here's what they don't tell you. Lead is a natural shield against radiation and electromagnetic frequencies. In other words, radio waves can't penetrate it. Before the ban, your walls literally acted like armor. No TV signals, no radio frequencies, no wireless anything could pass through. And then, right as wireless communication exploded, radio, television, early radar, the health panic began. Convenient timing, right? They told us it was about safety, but the studies linking lead paint to poisoning? Most came from industrial smelting, not house paint. The numbers never added up. But what did add up was control. Because once the lead came off the walls, the signals went in. Every home became a receiver. Every person became a node in a connected network. Was lead paint banned to protect you or to make sure they could finally reach inside your home?
Okay, so the crazy part about this, by the way, is we had Xfinity, a Wi-Fi company, has a new feature called Wi-Fi Motion. And they can use, if your Wi-Fi is on in your home, you can use it as a motion detecting device to know if someone's in your home when they're not supposed to be, or just detect motion in general. And we know that we're using the one side of the internet or of a Wi-Fi signal, but there's another side to it. There's another door, you could say. We're using the front door. There's a back door to it. And I'm talking the same way with frequencies from cell towers as well. We're talking about a sophisticated surveillance system that is wireless, that can see everything that's going on. Now, what would happen, do you think, if they were spraying on us in the sky nano sensors that interacted with the frequencies? Picture a hologram, a desk, you got a big desk and it's a hologram of a real-time battle. Think of Star Wars when they're watching the battlefield on a hologram, seeing it in real time. Let's just say that was based on something that you can do if you have a bajillion sensors and frequencies blanketing the area. It's surveillance, dude. Nobody ate a freaking paint chip. That was a scam.
First of all, there were absolutely kids who ate lead paint chips. I've seen that with my own eyes. But we were just talking about this the other day in a different video, and it surprised me just how many people didn't know about this. That the government blocked the use of lead paint on residential homes because it blocks radio waves and stuff. One thing I noticed, though, that should absolutely come off as a red flag. Just like this Utah digital ID is being promoted as for your safety, this lead paint ban was being promoted in its day as for your safety. And honestly, does anyone actually believe that the government cares at all about our safety? If they did, they wouldn't be giving a CDL driver's license to all these drivers that came over here illegally and can't even read our road signs. If they truly cared about our safety, they wouldn't have flooded our country with some of the most statistically violent individuals that's ever existed. They don't care about our safety. And anytime you hear that being given as a reason for some move they're making, alarm bells should start going off. Anytime you hear that, there's usually another agenda. That for the public safety line is just propaganda to get us all to take our guard down, to make it appear as if the government's providing us some service out of the goodness of their heart instead of some means of authoritarian control. Hey, don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you haven't already, and don't forget to drop your theories and your comments in the comment section down below.
The U.S. has dozens, if not hundreds, of vehicles that are more than capable of space flight, and make it so we would have a fleet of vehicles that would be seemingly extraterrestrial. And the reason that that has to be kept that way is because if you know that those vehicles exist, you start to question the technology that they're based on. And when you start to do that, then you start to question why we're still using petroleum products and solid rocket boosters and everything else, and things get quickly out of hand after that. So to keep those vehicles a secret is to keep everything else a secret, which is why you would need that level of security to prevent anybody from finding out about it.
Okay, but that space fleet, as you call it, is capable of going
anywhere easily throughout the solar system without much time or hindrance to the occupants.
Okay, and explain how fast one can get to Mars, for example.
Just below the speed of light.
First of all, I don't know who that is speaking, as I'm sure I'll get that question quite a few times down in the comments. But the video description does claim that the guy's ex-military. Maybe he is, maybe he's not, and this is just a theory. But this is the most logical theory I've heard in regards to why they hide these man-made UFOs from the general public. However, I don't believe for a second that they can actually fly to Mars in those things. It would take very little to build one of these space shuttles that they claim to be flying up to the International Space Station in, disguise its functionality, and then just lie to the general public about how it works. They could even just tell us that the way the shuttle operates is proprietary information, or that they can't release that information as a matter of national security. Then we could have more supposed manned missions to the moon. But the fact that they're not doing that leads me to believe that yes, they may have this technology, and yes, they may be utilizing it in other crafts, but they can't use it to get off the Earth. But thinking about the reason behind why they lie to us about the existence of such technology, this makes far more sense than anything else I've heard. They don't want people wondering If we have all this crazy new technology, why are we still driving around powering our cars with a combustion engine that was created 200 years ago?
People who may completely flat out refuse to get a digital ID, will those people be fined?
No, this is not something you have to carry or have to produce or anything like that, and there'll be no fining of people for not having it. It'll be something which simply makes life a lot easier.
The Prime Minister faced criticism for his digital ID policy, with some people accusing him of presiding over a nanny state. However, today, at an exclusive event, Keir Starmer clarified what the digital ID might actually mean for the public.
For people who don't have a mobile phone, then this isn't mandatory. So you don't have to have it. It will make your life easier if you want it, but you don't have to have it. We're consulting on what other forms of ID would help them. Again, it won't be mandatory. You can still use your passport or your birth certificate or your 3 bank accounts if you want, however many times. You can choose to pay £85 to a company to prove that you are who you are every time you need to. Or you can take the easy route, which is get digital ID.
So Keir Starmer claims digital ID is the easy route. But if there's no fine against not having one, would you take it up?
This is obviously just a flat-out lie to cut back on the public criticism. Now, anytime this is brought up in a debate or an interview, he can just claim that he's already announced publicly that it's not going to be mandatory. But he's already come out and stuck his foot in his mouth telling everybody that without it, you won't be able to get a job in the UK. They've already announced the carbon credit system that's going to be attached to it. And how exactly do they intend to control how much meat you're consuming if you don't have one? Pretty soon, it's going to be, yeah, it's not mandatory, but if you want to go shopping in your local grocery store, you're going to have one so you can comply with the carbon credit system. It's going to be the same thing that it was whenever they were pushing those passports back in 2020 and 2021. They'll just make life impossible if you don't have one, the whole time gaslighting everyone, telling them it's not mandatory, it's a choice. This is clearly just a talking point to get the heat off of himself.
I'm in China and I'm going to show you exactly how advanced this country is. Just going to walk in a regular shop and grab, 2 bottles of water. I'm going to pay totally without cash. I have no cash with me at all. I have no phone, no nothing. I'm going to pay with a different method. How mental is that? Paid with the palm of my hand. The palm of my hand. People are thinking, hold on, that's a bit dangerous. So it's 100% accurate. Your identical twin, if you had one, could go in there and it would refuse them. And also, blood needs to be running through your veins. So if you chop someone's arm off and used their hand, it wouldn't work. If your identical twin used their hand, it wouldn't work. So it's 100% accurate. It is the most advanced technology in the world. It's more advanced than facial recognition. It's more advanced than fingerprints. China are changing the world of cashless payment. Everyone in the comments will say, that's dangerous, I wouldn't do that. You wait, mate. Give it 20 years, every convenience store in the world will have technology like that. This is China.
Yeah, it's not someone else accessing your checking account that everyone's worried about. It's the government having access to your checking account and your biometric data and your location. I just wonder how much the Chinese government and the World Economic Forum are paying this guy to make these TikTok videos. Talk about tone deaf. I find it hard to believe that someone can be genuinely excited about the advancement of this technology. And I know that there are actually people out there who just simply don't think about the horrors that this technology is going to lead us into, but I just can't wrap my head around their thought process. It's almost like some of these people want to be controlled by the government.
What episode of Black Mirror are we in right now, you guys? Do any of you remember who this is? This is Susie Ann Summers. She passed away 2 years ago at 76 years old. She's been in a whole bunch of stuff, but she's most well known for the character that she played in Three's Company next to John Ritter. Like I said, she passed away 2 years ago, and do you know what they have done? Do you know what her husband did to fulfill her dreams, they literally have created an AI clone of Suzanne Somers. Her husband goes to state that Suzanne Somers is not only loved and missed by her family, but by millions of fans, and that he brought the AI demo to a conference and blew everybody away. When you look at the finished one next to the real Suzanne, you can't tell the difference. It's amazing. And I mean, I've been with Suzanne for 55 years, so I know what her face looks like. And when I look at the two of them side by side, I really can't tell which one of them is real and which one is the AI. They also state in the article that this has been planned and talked about since the 1980s, and that she has wrote 27 books and done hundreds of interviews, so she will be ready for any question anyone has to ask her. Stating that while AI is fairly new to most, they had been talking about it since the 1980s. Stating, we have been friends with Ray Kurzweil. Bill Gates described Ray Kurzweil as the smartest man on the planet, which he is, and he became our friend 30-some years ago, and we talked about this. We knew it was coming. It took decades to happen, but we knew it was going to happen, and he shared that information with us. Stated in the article that Suzanne Somers wanted to do this for her fans decades before her passing. He was quoted saying she thought it would be a good service to her fan, especially the ones that bought her book and had questions about her health issues. Her husband states, the first time I spoke to Suzanne AI for the first 2 or 3 minutes, it was a little strange, but after that, I forgot about the fact that I was talking to a robot and asking her questions and getting answers, and it happens that fast for me, getting used to the whole idea. Saying, I really feel good about being able to deliver what Suzanne wanted, and doing that, it'll be something that basically should go on for generations. They mentioned once they are satisfied with the finished product that they will put her on full display at SuzanneSomers.com, where people can ask her questions 24/7. My 2 questions that I have are, where are we drawing the line with this whole AI cloning thing, and how many celebrities are going to be jumping on board creating their own AI clones? Does this freak anyone else out?
First of all, I really do not intend to speak ill of the dead. But when I was a kid, I remember watching this documentary with my grandmother that was either about the show Three's Company or Suzanne Somers herself. And my biggest takeaway, the most impactful thing that I remember from that entire documentary, is that the woman was simply obsessed with the idea of becoming famous. She didn't even seem to care what she was famous for. It didn't matter to her if she was more famous for acting or promoting the Thigh Master. She just wanted to be adored by people. So seeing that she's one of the first celebrities to jump onto an idea like this is not surprising to me at all. And again, I don't mean to speak ill of the dead. And I'll admit, I loved watching her show Step by Step whenever I was growing up. My whole family would pile in front of the TV on Friday nights to watch the TGIF lineup, and it was a big part of my childhood. But how many actual diehard fans does Suzanne Somers have? I don't think there would be enough to even make doing something like this make sense. And I would imagine that most of her diehard fans are probably too old to even be on the internet regularly. I think there's probably a good reason why they're using someone who's already passed away to test this out, though. Other celebrities are probably not going to follow suit until they see how this is received by the public. But I can certainly see this going horribly wrong. One wrong statement by this thing and her entire career could be overshadowed by some racist comment made by an algorithm with her face attached to it.
Alright, let's take a little trip back to the year 1666. Do you notice anything about this number? The 666s. Now, if I told you that everything about our modern world, our science, our laws, and reality itself was written in this single symbolic year, would you believe me? Well, stick with me because this one goes very deep. Alright, let's start with the Great Fire of London, which was in the year 1666. Now, this Great Fire wiped out over 13,000 homes, 87 churches, and the entire heart of the city. Now, here's where it gets a bit interesting. This fire conveniently destroyed loads of property records, land titles, debts, and ownership documents. Now, out of the ashes rose a new London, you know, a new financial order, a new system that was built on trust law, you know, the Crown Trust. It wasn't just a fire, it was a total reset, a cleansing of history, you know, making the way for the new corporation, the commercial empire that still rules us today. Okay, so whilst London was absolutely burning, a man named Isaac Newton, who was sitting in isolation during the plague, that's when he supposedly discovered the gravitational theory, the invisible force that binds us all to the imaginative ball that we are told that we live on. Now, the timing was absolutely perfect. You know, out of the destruction came a new science, one that replaced divine law with mathematical law. You know, the beginning of the religion of scientism. From this moment, everything became measurable, explainable, and controllable, and faith in God's creation was replaced with faith in human calculation. And what a coincidence that in the year 1666, God's creation and divine order was replaced with faith in human calculation. Now, it doesn't end there. The same year, the Parliament passed a quiet little law called the QV Act of 1666. Under this act, anyone lost or presumed dead could have their property held in trust by the state. And guess what? They extended this concept to everyone. When you were born, or when we are still born today, your parents register you, unknowingly handing you over to the living rights to the Crown Trust. You become a legal fiction, a corporate entity written in all capital letters. Your birth certificate isn't proof of your life, it's proof of ownership. Okay, so let's just quickly recap. In 1666, the city burned. Science replaced spirit, and the law declared humanity lost at sea. And from that day on, we have been living under their illusion, a world of contracts, corporations, and control. 1666 wasn't just a year, it was the year that they took our soul, the year that the deception started, the year that the beast system was incorporated into our everyday lives. The beast system in the year 1666, and until you reclaim your soul, you're just another straw man floating in their system. We need to wake up.
I've been shown now multiple times that it's not a good idea to just look at things and write them off as coincidence. And looking into the year 1666, Isaac Newton not only discovered gravity, but calculus and optics as well. There was a plague going on that was keeping everybody in lockdown and isolation, which sounds uncomfortably familiar. The Anglo-Dutch War was raging on, which completely reshaped European trade routes. England completely reformed its naval command in that year, eventually leading to the formation of the Royal Navy. Several of the most notable scientific institutions were established in 1666. That sounds like the date of the last great reset looking at it from the outside in. And I don't know that all of this stuff is connected, but I find it hard to believe that all of these efforts to reform scientific study, the destruction of thousands of churches, and the mass displacement of populations, I find it hard to believe that all of these things just happen to be taking place while there was a plague occurring. This kind of sounds like it might have been the blueprint for what we all just went through. Maybe it was just spread out over multiple years instead of taking place all at once because they didn't want it to be obvious. Everyone has the ability to see the news instantly now. It all just seems awfully suspicious, doesn't it? And I just have to point out, at this point, I've seen so many major historical events that all seem to be based off the idea of stopping the spread of the knowledge of God. So I'm betting that at least some of this stuff had to do with that. It's just too common of an occurrence.
It's already started and the EBT cards have not even declined yet. What's even going on in America? We aren't safe to enter the door, and now they're saying roads aren't safe because all the people crashing. Walmarts and food stores aren't safe. We're seeing looting all over the place, y'all. Not only that, I'm about to show you in a minute how they're trying to plan out certain days and times to all do it at the same exact time to make sure they're getting away with it in their own words, so they don't use their own money when everyone else is stealing. I'm starting to believe that there might actually be a shortage of meat and different things because the haul that these people are getting away with. Check this out real quick.
Hell, they talking about no food stamps. Y'all can take y'all purses if y'all want to. Y'all can take y'all purses if y'all want to. I ain't taking no purse. Stay. What you mean? Stay. But we about to eat good over here, baby. I ain't stopping this shit. Quit playing.
Let me remind you guys, we've had like 1,000 different threats on social media about them breaking into houses and the cars and straight up stealing at something point right at the car in the parking lot of the Walmart or Publix or wherever you are. And yes, it makes me very upset people who need their EBT will not have it in November. But stealing, whether from stores or from people straight up, is wrong in itself. People are about to go to jail quite literally over a few dollars in groceries. We'll get to the planned effort in 1 minute, because at the same time we had 2 mass shootings in the last 12 to 14 hours. Like I said at the beginning, I've seen so many reports of people going to doors dressed up as certain figures, getting inside, stealing stuff, or even worse stuff. Of course, the roads, all the wrecks that we're seeing every single day, that ends up taking out whole handfuls of people at the same exact time. Now we have people trying to coordinate with each other to all steal at the same exact time.
I just put up in front of this grocery store, and I just really want to know, when are y'all going to go and snap? If they can take away these SNAP benefits, when is we snapping? When is the day? When are we snapping? When we snapping? Because don't have me going in the grocery store and y'all loading up your carts with groceries, running out, and I'm at the register. I'm running too.
If you're thinking about it, know that it's not worth going to jail over a cart of food. We are seeing a landscape of super stressed out, crushed down people, and these are civil war conditions.
Wow, this is escalating much faster than I expected it to. I figured we at least had until the start of November, but these people better be careful. I think a lot of them have forgotten that it's not 2023 anymore. They're no longer letting people go steal and riot and cause havoc and then just letting them off with a slap on the wrist. People are going to end up losing their freedom over a roll of ground beef. And if they cause too much trouble in any given area, the federal government will probably just send the National Guard in there to take back control of things. And do they really think that they're going to continue to get these benefits in the future if they're arrested for doing this nonsense? Honestly though, if that's what happens, these people will have brought it on themselves. It's not even the 1st of November. No one has lost their benefits yet, but they're already stealing stuff. These people are just using this as an excuse to justify theft. We can't function as a society if we allow this kind of nonsense. And I'm not trying to have a lack of empathy. I get that people need to eat, but there are plenty of places to go get food if you're that hard up. When I was a young man and I hit hard times, I would either turn to family or I would go to a local church or a food bank. There are always options, but robbing from someone who tried to do things the right and the legal way is just an easier choice. But there are always options. This isn't North Korea where there just isn't any food. I guess if they get arrested, at least then they'll be able to eat. But y'all be careful out there. Keep an eye out for these people that think it's okay to rob somebody just because they have something that they want. It's starting to look like this is going to get much worse than I originally expected. But guys and gals, I'm going to go ahead and end the video right there. I hope you enjoyed these clips we watched together today. God willing, I'll be back tomorrow with another video. I hope you come back to join me. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and don't forget to drop your theories and your comments in the comments section down below. But guys and gals, I hope everyone has a great, safe, fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you all tomorrow.